Hey dudes, SilviteSoltis here, back again with another Classic video. One of the things that makes Classic so special is just how memorable the journey is. Whether you started way back in vanilla, or with the more recent Classic and Anniversary editions, we all have certain moments that stick with us. Ones that bring back that rush of nostalgia whenever we think about them. Maybe it's the first time you stepped into a dungeon, that huge upgrade that you finally obtained, or just getting lost in a brand new zone. That said, there are some experiences that define our time in Azeroth, and leave a lasting impression on each and every player. So today, I want to take a trip down memory lane and count down the top 5 most iconic moments that every Classic player experiences. Of course, nostalgia is different for everyone, so if there's a moment that you think should have made this list, drop it in the comments down below. And as always, if you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell to get more Classic WoW content. But with all that out of the way, let's jump right in. Here are my picks for the top 5 Classic WoW experiences. Number 5. The Baron's Chat. Coming in at number 5, we have something that every Horde player knows all too well, Baron's Chat. Whether you were rolling a new character on Horde, or just passing through the zone, you couldn't avoid it. Each and every time you stepped into the Barrens, your chat box would instantly transform into an unfiltered mix of Chuck Norris jokes, political debate, and completely unhinged arguments about Magrick's wife. It was chaotic, it was stupid, and it was absolutely unforgettable. Sure, the Alliance had Goldshire and Trade Chat, but unfortunately, those just don't hold a cobalt candle to the madness that was the Baron's Chat. It was the unfiltered Wild West version of online gaming, and it gave Classic WoW a personality that no other game has ever truly replicated. Number 4. Your first dungeon run. Now, we can't talk about a top experience in WoW without bringing up your first ever dungeon. You, a fresh-faced adventurer, still clicking your spells and wearing level 3 grey items, suddenly get invited to your first dungeon group. Perhaps it was the Dead Mines, Wailing Caverns, or Ragefire Chasm. You gather your party, travel all the way to the dungeon entrance, and you step inside. And then, it's absolute chaos. The tank doesn't know how to hold aggro, the healer runs out of mana constantly, and someone, probably the hunter, definitely pulls an extra group by accident. It's a total wipe fest, but somehow, through sheer determination, you finally make it to the last boss, take it down, and see your first ever blue item. That feeling of teamwork, discovery, and danger defines what makes Classic WoW so immersive. It's a stark contrast to modern dungeons, where everything is super streamlined. Back when you were new to Classic, every dungeon was a true adventure. But our very first dungeon experience is something that we'll all remember. Number 3. Your first mount. For most players, one of the biggest milestones in Classic WoW is finally obtaining your first mount. Unlike in retail WoW, where mounts are handed out like candy, Classic really makes you earn it. You painstakingly grind your way up to level 40, scrimp and save every single copper, and then, after what feels like an eternity, you finally have it, the 90 gold needed to buy your first mount. That moment when you hand over your hard-earned gold and summon your mount for the first time, obtaining the freedom that 60% increased movement speed brings. It's pure bliss. It's a sign that you've made it, and that all those mob grinds and trips to and from the auction house were worth it. Some might say that the epic mount at 60 is a bigger accomplishment, but really, there's no comparison with the feeling of that first one. Number 2. Your first ever raid. There's an oddly placed elf standing in a room at the base of Blackrock Mountain. You speak with him and are transported into a fiery cave. As you start to explore with your friends, you notice the sight. 2 massive giants are blocking your path. And beyond them, so much more. Whether it was Molten Core, Onyxia's Lair, or Zul'Gurub, nothing compared to the sheer awe of walking into one of these massive, larger-than-life encounters for the first time. The magical moment of seeing Ragnaros rise from the lava, or watching in horror as Onyxia inhaled deeply and wiped the raid, were all legendary experiences in their own right. For many of us, this was the first time we truly felt part of something bigger. 40 players working together to take down a single boss. The coordination, the excitement, and the sheer chaos of a first ever raid night. It's the stuff that classic memories are made of. Even now, years later and multiple re-releases in, stepping into those raids still brings back those feelings of joy and nostalgia. Before we reveal number 1, here are just a few honorable mentions. Your first PvP experience. Your first encounter with the opposite faction. Your first 6-slot bag. Number 1. The final ding. If there's one milestone that every classic WoW player will remember, it's hitting level 60 for the first time. Leveling in Classic wasn't just a quick linear path, it was a journey. No matter if you were a solo quester or a dungeon grinder, reaching level 60 felt like a true achievement. Whether by killing that one final mob or turning in a quest, the moment your XP bar vanished forever, and seeing that big 6-0 next to your name, it was pure satisfaction. And then reality hit. Now I can finally play the game. Reaching 60 wasn't the end, it was just the beginning of a whole new grind. But that moment when you ding, that's something you just never forget. And there you have it, the 5 greatest experiences that all classic players share. There are so many incredible experiences in this game, and honestly, every player's nostalgia is a little bit different. Maybe your favorite memory was running dungeons with your friends, the first time you getting ganked in STV, or even just hanging out in Ironforge or Orgrimmar watching those badass players with Tier 2 epics. However, I feel that as a general list, nothing beats these 5. That said, what do you think? Are there any super nostalgic moments that you think I should have included here? Or do you have any personal memories to tell? Let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to hear what moments defined the game for you. But anyway, that's it for today. If you enjoyed this trip down memory lane, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to stay updated with more classic content. Thanks so much for watching, and as always, take it easy, guys.